listening to Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon.
Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time, and it is April, y'all. The last time we talked to y'all, it was March, and now it's April, and a fourth of the year is just gone. Gone like the Department of Education. Oh, is it too soon? Woo! Anyway, this is Two Queers in a Truck time with Christian and Jetty. I almost forgot my name. And wow. What time flies when you have brain fatigue. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it in the first segment because it's too juicy not to talk about. Elon Musk's ex-wife or ex-partner or whatever she was to him, Grimes, made a very interesting post on the social medias this last week. And in fact, it was absolutely hilarious. It's... There's no way there's no way around it, and it's too delicious. At Grimes, Z as the sexuality and kinks are simply different for everyone. Many Fortune 500 CEOs enjoy being pegged. I shouldn't change your opinion of them. It shouldn't change your. Some even recorded. Even if those videos were to leak, seeing a successful automaker or social media owner being ruthlessly destroyed shouldn't be the end of his career. And that person definitely should not be mad at his ex because it was her video that got uploaded.
Oh my. Wow. That's interesting.
And somebody posted Grimes, the strange ex-wife of Elon Musk, reveals that he likes getting pegged. And and you know, of course, it's always those guys that, you know, obviously we're not going to kink shame on this.
Yeah.
But you gotta find it delicious that when people come for him, they just, I mean, you talk about outing him in the funniest way, and I have mixed feelings. You know, obviously being a queer person and many times in my life being in the closet or being very low key about my sexuality and my gender queerness. Obviously apartheid Clyde, very much according to his ex. Enjoys the pleasures of the flesh in a very non-traditional, non-conservative way. And it sounds a lot like Lindsey Graham, but, you know, except he likes women to do it. And it just tells you that these guys, you know, Elon Musk is extremely transphobic. And we have to talk about this because these guys are always the ones that you find out later an ex, or you find a former gay lover, you find, you know, that there was, you know, that they videoed, you know, or recorded or whatever the case may be. And you find out that they're always the inner freaks. They're always the, you know, the child predators. They're always the people that do the most horrific things and then point the finger to somebody else. And I want to go on record. I don't have a problem with him getting pegged. You know, he can get pegged by a whole slew of all of his baby mamas and his former former lovers. That doesn't change how I feel about Elon Musk. What it does bother me is when he's talking about the woke mind virus and how trans people not laying eggs is destroying America and making us sound like the scourge of the earth. And then we face transphobia. I faced some transphobia last night at an LGBT chamber thing. And I'm used to it. But when people step up to the mantle of being a leader or saying that they want to be a leader and they want to lead our country, but still show big open bigotry, I expect it from randoms. I expect it from people, even at events like that, because I'm very visibly trans. I don't have the ability to hide. I'm not a dainty 110-pound, blonde, cute, 5'6" trans woman. I'm a 6 foot tall, built like a Dallas Cowboys linebacker trans woman that doesn't mind showing both sides of them. I have the courage to go out in the public that way, even though it can be exhausting at times because of the looks I get or the attitude that I get. And people think because I am big and tough that it's just easy, and it's not. And he makes my world that much harder. He shrinks my world in so many ways. There's so many doors that will close for me in the next years because of all the trans hate. Just like for Latino people and Latinos and people of color and so many and Islamic people and anybody that looks different or prays different or loves different or whatever. And when that bigotry rears its ugly head, it changes our world. It changes our universe. It affects us. It puts us on trajectories that we don't belong on, because all people deserve the same life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that Pegasaurus Rex, Elon Musk, enjoys to bend over and sing the all 50 states capitals to his ex-wife, pegging away at one of the wealthiest men in the world. It shouldn't matter that he enjoys being pegged just as much as it shouldn't matter that I'm transitioning or have transitioned or lived differently than I did 10 years ago. It's not affecting anybody. I'm not affecting the price of eggs or cars or anything else by just being me, just any more than it didn't affect Tesla's stock price because he likes to bend over and grab his ankles and say, I'm Lucy. They don't have anything to do with it. There's no correlation, is the whole thing. There's no correlation between kids and women losing rights or losing rights to play sports like there's a right to play sports. It's a proven fact that there's, and it just came up here locally with a less than so-called progressive, supposedly a Democrat, an attorney. Democrats should chuck and run away from trans people. They shouldn't stand by them. I guess he was the same guy in the 1960s that begged Lyndon Johnson not to pass the civil rights bills too. Hey, we don't need to protect those people of color. It's only 14% of the population. We'll lose voters. If you protect trans people and you lose votes over that, we probably didn't want those votes. And Harris didn't lose the presidential election because she was brave and stepped up. It was actually the opposite. There was no trans people that spoke at the DNC for the first time in a long time. There wasn't no protections extended. Democrats run in 30 different states away from the trans community and let us hang out to dry, including this state, multiple times. Defending a community that's so small that it's insignificant to the point where it's less than half of the percent of the population, if that hangs you, you may need a new constituency or a new spine. We can't win being cowards. You can't win in life being a coward. You lose. FDR said it best. There's nothing to fear except fear itself. You can't go quietly in the night. And the moment you do, you become a doormat in this world. The moment you shrink and go away from a party and refuse to go back, you get judged. They win. We lose. We lose big time. We lose the talents of trans people all across the spectrum. We lose that in society. And yeah, it may be less than 0.5% of the population, but we're only as strong as our weakest link. We're only as strong as our smallest minority group. Because that's what happened in Nazi Germany. The first clinic they went after was the transgender clinic that started it all. It started with the trans people and the queer people then. And then went to the other groups, including famously the Holocaust and the Jews. But it started with people like me. Queer people. Everybody that's listening to this show, it started with us. Because we're the smallest group. And many of us can run stealth, and many of us can run and hide, and we can pretend we're not this or not that. We can detransition. Then why did we do it in the first place? Why did we stand in front of everything that we hold sacred and say, I'm here and I'm queer? If we cut and run, and we affiliate ourselves with political parties that'll cut and run. I'm not mad at the Republicans for hating trans people. I'm mad at Democrats for not locking arms and saying, not here. Not on this shining hill of a city called Washington, D.C. You stand your ground every single time when it comes to human rights. And if you don't, why participate in democracy? Why participate in this deal? It'd been like, oh, Obama's black. Let's not, we don't need a black nominee. Let's figure out a way not to have a black nominee. We would have never gotten Obamacare. We would have never gotten the audacity of hope. We would have never seen the heroic bravery of Barack and Michelle Obama as the president and first lady had we given in to prejudice inside our party. We would have never seen that powerful Obama coalition that changed American history for the better. See, dare to be great moments means you need to be great. That's the whole tricky part of being great. And making America great again does not look like prejudice. We're up against our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck. Hey everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye. Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we do broadcast on YouTube and Facebook in a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the Two Queers in the Truck Show 2025 edition. We have a new special show that is coming on as part of the Canis Media family of shows, and it's the Tony Foreman Show. And they're going to talk about a little bit different things than we typically talk about on the coffee show or the queer show that we often reference. And it's going to be a little bit more of a serious show, a little bit more talking about very specific issues amongst Latin, Latino men and Hispanic men. Tony Formo is the Afro-Latino. And then I'm assuming that Christian's going to be on the show as well, which is a Latino male, a Tejano. And we're going to talk about things that are probably important to their generations, to what's going on in pop culture and where they fit in the world. And I guess that's always the existential question. Why am I here? But anyway, if you want to know why you're here and whether you fit in that demographic or not, it should be interesting. I know Tony and Christian will keep it light and funny, and probably a little bit of silliness in there too to boot. Well, I'm looking forward to listening to it myself and not having to actually produce a show all the time. But please tune in at 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings when that show drops, and enjoy more shows from the Canis Media family in 2025. Thank y'all. And we are back. Our country, and most of all our party, the Democrat Party, for the people that call it home, have to step up. History's asking us there. Just like in the 1930s and 40s, history asked some Germans and some Italians to do better. And then eventually they did, with the help of many other nations. Democrats have to step better because they're the only thing standing between Republican tyranny and oblivion. Because once they wipe out 1.5 million of us, round us up, put us in camps, make us virtually, we can't access jobs, we can't own businesses. Once they outlaw us, who do you think is next? It's like the ridiculous argument that Christian, which I really appreciate, on Facebook, and he stood up to an asshole in our party. I'm not going to name his name because he didn't deserve to be named. I don't want to give him any fame. But a chicken shit local attorney that's supposedly a Democrat, which I really have a tough time believing, because he sure had a lot of Nazis stepping up, defending his bad behavior. He's saying Democrats should really think twice about supporting trans people. It's a losing issue. The human rights is a losing issue. And when confronted with facts and figures, he got noticeably quiet and made it about himself, which is the true sign of narcissism, which is another reason why I typically don't like attorneys. They get used to arguing. And when I confronted him about facts and figures and supplied facts and figures, I noticed him and his Nazi allies. Noticed a lot of MAGAs came to his defense, which was really weird. And so you can't not see the issue there. A little Zig Heil action going on. Which is ironic because the dude's gay. And his husband's just as dumb as he is. And just as problematic. And I sent them packing. With allies like that, who needs enemies? That's who I worry about, is when Democrats crumble, which they've crumbled for 9 years over this transgender issue. The facts and the figures are the following. No transgender athlete has won an Olympic medal from any country, ever. Not a trans man, trans woman, or a non-binary person. Never has won a medal of any kind in Olympic history. On the American team, I don't think we've ever placed higher than 20th. Last time I checked in the Olympics and the IOC rules, I don't remember a 20th place medal. There has never been a transgender athlete that has been a college All-American on any Division I level in major sports. And we've been playing in NCAA sports on some level and been eligible for the Olympics since 2004 or earlier in some states. We were allowed to play certain college sports as early as 1998 when Minnesota, Hawaii, and California also voted to support trans athletes. So we've had time. We've had almost 27 years. But we've yet to produce a Michael Jordan or a Caitlin Clark version of us. Why is that? If we are dominating in one way, according to the bigots and the mouth breathers, we should be killing it by now. We should be getting Nike deals and Wheaties deals. I don't know if Wheaties is still even around.
Yeah, they are.
But at this point, we should have a transgender superstar in the athletic world, according to the mouth breathers, according to the bigots. We should have it by now. We've been playing sports for a long time. Under the ability to compete, trans women have been able to compete in women's and girls sports in some markets, including California. So California being a huge, the most populated state, we should have killed it by now. And most states, most progressive states by 2010 had integrated us in. But the truth was, in the last school year, there was only 8 transgender athletes in North Carolina schools that participated on some level, that did the proper paperwork to disclose that and show that they're on hormones or whatever, out of 1.5 million students. And if 8 trans kids, and 6 of them are trans masculine or trans males, only 2 trans females, and neither one of them got starting time in any sport. They're bench warmers. So obviously it's not affecting girl sports. There isn't enough incidents of trans girls or women doing well. I can't find them in the United States. And we should have. If after a quarter of a century of participation, we haven't produced one superstar. Name me the superstar that's a trans American athlete, female or male. I can't think of them. And no, I don't watch sports ball as much as I used to. But let me tell you, if there was a superstar trans athlete, I'd probably know about it. I've got enough trans friends that do like sports, and enough queer friends that love sports. Hell, Christian would be telling me about it. You watch tons of sports, Christian. Is there a Jordan of the trans world that I don't know about? That's 5 slam?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers? Well, he is an egg. And
yeah.
He may be in the closet. You might not be wrong.
That's right.
But he didn't compete in women's sports. Even though he's Lady Rogers, that's for sure.
That's right.
That was a good singer, actually.
Yeah.
But here's the truth. There's no evidence. Because the evidence, the proof would be in the pudding if we were really winning, if there was some trans athlete that was just so amazing. There's been a few on the high school level that have done all right, won a few medals and some different track athletes, and they're always going to point to that. But none of them went on to greatness at all. There's been very little trans accomplishment considering how long we've been eligible to play sports in especially in progressive states, except for the following. There was a wrestler, a trans boy, that wrestled in the state of Texas a few years back. He won back-to-back girls wrestling titles because the UIL, the University Interscholastic League of Texas, which controls school sports, public school sports, and school sports in general, it's a governing body, didn't allow this trans male, again, a trans male, not a trans female like me, but one that presents male and is on testosterone treatments. He petitioned the UIL to wrestle in the girls' division his sophomore year, his junior year, and his senior year, and begged them to let him wrestle against boys in his weight class. And they refused. He went on to win back-to-back state championship titles in his weight division. He's all hopped on testosterone and wrestled as a boy. And pound for pound, even though he weighed the same as the girls he wrestled, he was clearly stronger. Now, see, the opposite would be true if a trans girl of the same weight, say they were in the 110 to 115 pound division. I don't know if that's a division or not, but I'm going to go off memory and say it is. I'm pretty close. That is estrogen dominant, meaning they have the female hormones and the titty skittles in their body. If they wrestle a girl of the same age and they're not going to do any better because they're trans. A trans teenager or female, you can't tell if they've been transitioning that early. They're just the same amount of muscle mass and fat tissue mass as a cis girl, as somebody who was born and their gender aligned with who they are. And we got to face facts. The only trans athlete that I know of on any kind of level was a trans boy. It was not a trans female, not a big scary trans female. But we're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in the Truck. Hey, y'all, this is Jetty with Two Queers in the Truck, and Christian's along with me. And we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it. And we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo. So until I see evidence that puts this to bed, and until all of a sudden the sporting world shits out about 10 superstar Caitlin Clark trans athletes of any kind, to where we're ripping up the WNBA and women's pro soccer and World Cup shit and the IOC, it's just shocking that there's no proof yet. We still keep making these cases. And there is a point where we're going to have to face this. In other news, Governor Hot Wheels Abbott in Texas is really tackling a huge issue in the Texas public schools. And I've been real worried about it. In fact, I've lost a lot of sleep over this issue. And Governor Hot Wheels Abbott has taken on the biggest issue of 2025. Texas State Representative Stan Gerdes, a Republican, introduced the Forbidding Unlawful Representation of Role-Playing in the Education Act, or the Furries Act, which would punish schools if teachers don't take action to stop kids from acting like animals in schools. Districts will face a fine of $10,000 for such offense, and $25,000 for each offense after. The bill gives examples of such behaviors, including meowing, wearing leashes, or animal-like ears, or licking oneself or others for the purpose of grooming or maintenance. For years, the rumor spread on right-wing media and social media that schools were accommodating student furries. The myth was often brought up during discussions of school accommodations for transgender students, intended as a rejoiner. If schools are allowing trans students to attend their school as their authentic selves when it comes to gender, then what's to stop furries from demanding to be treated like animals? Woo! I'm so glad that we're stopping furries in the school system, because I've seen so many, and I've got so many parents that are friends of mine of school-age kids that have said, you know what, this had to stop. My kids started licking themselves and having a fursona and started humping fire hydrants. Whew, that was scary. Crisis averted in Texas. Good job, Governor Abbott, taking on the most powerful debates of our day and suffering the slings and arrows of being a wheelchair warrior for all Texas kids and stopping litter box usage and furries. Because that was the end of Texas public education. If they didn't stop this in the tracks right now and don't pass this Furries Act, what is the world coming to when Fortune 500 executives are getting pegged and we got furries in the schools? Oof. Because that's going to affect the prices of eggs and beer. If this is so rampant in this day and age of camera phones and the Google machines, why hasn't there been pictures of this in the schools? Why haven't teachers posted this to their social media? Because I can almost guarantee you, if this was truly happening, and I'm being facetious when I'm saying, I'm agreeing with this. This is the biggest waste of Texas taxpayer time I've ever heard of. But there's literally during these hearings for this deal, that kids go to school dressed up as cats with litter boxes in their classrooms. But in this day and age of camera phones, shouldn't we see all these trans athletes winning? Shouldn't there be videos of us just stomping cisgendered women? Shouldn't there be videos and pics of kids leaving schools carrying their litter boxes under their leg, wearing dog collars? Shouldn't it, if this is so prevalent and actually exists, other than maybe a headband with cat ears? I've never seen it personally. I think it's the craziest, wildest accusation I've ever heard. Now, do some people play cosplay and go to conventions and stuff? Yeah. There's all kinds of things cosplayed. There's Fortune 500 CEOs that cosplay pegging recipients. There's Lindsey Graham, Lady Graham, and all the ladybugs. There's the gay, not gay Tim Scott that has a beard of a wife.
There's MTG acting like a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about cosplay. I'm convinced she's a trans man. I'm waiting for her to go on testosterone. I think she already has. She looks ripped. Have you seen her guns? I would give her one thing. She has a face like a mud fence. But there is no... I bet she can bench press a small car.
Mm-hmm.
She is strong.
Yeah.
She gets a hold of you with those pythons. She takes you to the ground. I'd like to see her and Lady Graham get into a wrestling match. My money's on MTG.
Yeah, so's mine. I agree.
And I'm pretty sure she's a top. Because we know Lindsey Graham ain't. But this whole fursona thing is just money. It's just like all the other QAnon MAGA rumors that have created over the years. And I think it's one of the wackiest ones because it's still got life. The fact that the governor of Texas, we know he's a whack job. I mean, he put landmines and, barbed wire in the Rio Grande to stop a few poor people from swimming over the river to come to the United States.
But Jenny, you know why they're doing this, right?
Of course, I know why they're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing. I mean, I think everyone knows this, except maybe if you live in Texas and you're a supporter of his. They have to feed the fuel of outrage.
Yeah.
And when they had Biden, every week there was something to be outraged about. Immigration, border, this. Now that they have a Republican president, Republican Congress, Republican Senate, and living in Texas is still shitty, they have to throw something in there to say, okay, this is the reason why. It's not because we're bad at governing, it's because of furries.
Well, yeah, there was a Republican candidate for governor the last election cycle, a lady named Heidi Gunn. She claimed student furries were identifying as cats in over 30 different schools in the state. Every school that she named contradicted that statement publicly.
Yeah.
Because classrooms, you can't hardly look cross-eyed at a student and then not come up to the school board. If that many schools had that many legit furries and they were using literally litter boxes and all of this, they would burn the school district down. Parents would go ape shit. If you give little Johnny an F on a test that they didn't study for, you get in trouble as a teacher nowadays. I wouldn't want to be a teacher for all the money in the world. Teachers get targeted by crazy parents all the time for absolutely nothing. I've got friends that are teachers. It's brutal. There is no way as many parents to come in and out of classrooms, and I've volunteered in classrooms when my kids were young. And I can tell you, there's parents in the building all the time. If parents walked in and saw their kid crapping or somebody else's kid crapping in a litter box or peeing in a litter box, I wouldn't walk to the principal's office. I would run to the principal's office. But that is the end of the show for this week.
What a way to end it.
April 2nd, starting with pegging and furries. What a way to begin this month in 2025.
That's right.
And I guess it's the day after April Fool's. All this stuff is actually in the news. So this is not an April Fool's show, believe it or not. In 2025, we're debating furries, pegging, and transgender human rights. That's where we're at in 2025. No flying car. So that's all we have for this week. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening to Two Queers and Interact with Christian and Jenny. And we'll see you next week, which will be the second Wednesday in the month of April.
Wow.
But watch out for them furries out there. They are tearing up the state of Texas right now. And if you listen to the show, you'll know why. Y'all see you next week. Appreciate y'all as always. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo.